This week on Painted Plastic.
Hey everybody, Brandon back with some more Painted Plastic. Welcome to episode 9. This should be the final construction video. Up next will be the reveal. Off camera I've already started. Got one arm built, right? And we're gonna work on the other arm. I've got all the pieces here. Got the torso that will, house all the wiring eventually. So, and I've got the beam saber for the right arm. So yeah, give me 1 second, gather up some tools and just clear away some of the stuff we're not going to use right now, and we'll get started. Be right back. Time to start wiring up this hand. I don't know if I mentioned the hands in any of the other parts, but basically it was all primed black, and then I masked the actual hand and fingers and painted the shield just like the rest of the kit. Took that all off, and then I metallized the hand, masked off the top and metallized the hand, and that's how I did those. But anyway, a couple other things that I've done off camera. For the head, basically I just took the neck post, drilled a hole straight through it, and ran my lead down. Light sits right on top, and then the head will just sit right on top of that. Right, so that's how that was done. As for the chest, this was a little more complicated. That's why I did it off camera. Basically, this insert, I cut the tops off so that it was hollow. Used some hot glue, right, to fix the little bulbs in place. And then I just painted over the hot glue with Tamiya crystal red or clear red or whatever it's called. Yeah, just a clear paint, right? So they glow red. And then I also have 2 bulbs for the backpack, which is, it's over there. I didn't bring it over here. I should have. Sorry. But anyway, let's get on with the hand. If you'll remember way back in the episode, I don't know, it was like episode 4 or something. I don't know, I can't remember. When we did the wiring for this, right? We already cut the hole in the hand, right? So we're kind of ahead of the game that way. We can just feed these wires right through, and these arms are not unlike the legs. In terms of like where we have to cut and how we have to cut. The joint in the elbow is almost identical to the leg. But let's get this up through here. Oh, also, I don't know if I mentioned the saber handles. They were done real similarly to the hand. Primed them all. Then I masked off where I wanted the metal to be. Painted all the white. Weathered it. Sealed it. Masked that off, and then I metallized the rest of it, and that's how they came out. So I don't know if I covered that either. Let's see, I've got to get a little bend in this wire so it'll sit flush. Well, why don't you want to go in there? There we go, just like that, right? And then the thumb, then the thumb and fingers can go on. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot there's something we gotta cut out. Oh, dude, didn't I grab my cutters? 1 second, sorry, didn't grab my cutters. Oh, geez, I should be prepared when I start doing this stuff. This section of the back part is hitting the wire, just this very back panel. So all I'm going to do is snip on both sides. I want to leave the block itself because that's giving the hand some structure. But then I just break it off, right? Doesn't have to be pretty. Just like that. Everybody see that? Just put a little notch in that back panel. Now it'll slip right over the wire, no problem. In fact, I'm going to cut off these little notches as well. Ooh, watch your eyes. There. So now I have something that's open all the way across, right? Now it'll fit right on. Just like that. Now he's holding the beam saber. For the forearm, it could not be simpler. I've got my pin vise handy already, and I've got the largest bit that it'll accept. And we're going to go just right dead center of, I don't know if you can make out what I'm doing here, but right dead center where that wire will be coming through. And I'm just going to put a hole. And this will be the only hole we need for the forearm. There we go. Just like that. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a hole right through. You can see that. Yeah. All right. So now, easy peasy, feed the wire through. Like I said, this is going to be real similar to the leg with just very few exceptions. Just like that. And will it come out? Yes, it will. Just like that. You know, and while I'm doing this, this is one of the limitations of how I do this stuff. He pretty much has to always hold his sword, you know. In the future, I'd like to work out a way to either change the hand out or be able to maybe place these with magnets so that you can at least take the saber out of his hand. I don't know. I don't like that it has to that he always has to have his sword in his hand. You know, I mean, it's neat that it lights up, but still. All right, so this is the elbow, and it will go in just like this. So just like before, yeah, let's separate it, get a better idea of what we're doing. There we go. All right. So the way this one's going to work is just like the other one, right? Where we came down through the top. So we're going to put a hole here. Actually, you know what? We're not even going to do that. We're just going to cut it out. All right. Cut out that center section. Now our wire can go down through there. And then we'll put a hole. Let's see, it's going to come down through here. So we'll put a hole going into the center right here. There we go. Just like that, right? So it'll come down, or well, this is actually the top, but it'll come through the center. It'll go through this panel, right? And then it'll come out over here and then down through that center section. So how do we do that? Just like on the other side, just put a little hole right here in the side of this pin. It's really kind of fiddly to do on this part because it's such a narrow part, but it's doable. Just take your time. And put a slight hole. There we go. Just like that. Right? And then it will come through here and down through this section. So we're going to just nip these off right where they are. Don't even need to put holes. Just like that. Oh, watch your eyes. Oh. Right. So, what's it going to look like put together. So this will come up through here, right? Just like that. It will go into this section, which this in and of itself is pretty fiddly, trying to get it in and make that turn. If you put a little hook, sometimes you can get it in and then grab it with some tweezers or something if you need to. There we go. Just like that. That's a narrow little space. Just like that. Now it'll go through. Whoops. Make sure your poly caps don't fall out. That's a big problem if they fall out. Got to take it all back apart. Alright, so that's going to go through. Oh, wait a minute. Did I put that on backwards? I put that on backwards. Time out. Sorry. Put it on backwards. There. Alright, so now we have that, which is halfway complete, right? I want to pull some of the slack out before we get too far along, because I want it just about ready to push in place when we get that other piece on. Just like that, right? Super close. Now this piece will go around. Like that. Make sure that wire's in that groove, which it is. And actually that's the front of the elbow. So it should be kind of in this position. But now for this last piece, it's going to go through the hole or through the center and then up through the hole and come out the top. And this part is particularly fiddly, but again, just some patience. And am I even on camera? Barely. There we go. Just like that. Now we'll pull those all the way through. All right. And whoops. There's a poly cap in the hand, or in the not the hand, in the shoulder. Need to pop that out and feed the wire through. There we go. Now you can reinstall that. And push them together. There we go. Didn't want to go together. All right, so we've got that, and hopefully we'll be able to just kind of push that down in the hand, or in the arm. Oh, wait a minute. Whoops. Good gracious. Putting it on backwards, y'all. Make sure your elbow's pointing the right direction. And will it fit? Will it fit? There we go. Elbow bends, no problem. Just like before, what we're going to do is come up through the center, and then we'll have to go around the back just like we did with the other one, right? Except with this one, we can come up and just pretty much go straight in. We don't have to worry about going around the post on this one, right? So there'll be a hole. Here, let me pop that back out. There'll be a hole here, right? That's going to go into the center of the shoulder. Right, just like that. Got a little blob of plastic. And for these, it really doesn't matter which one you go, you know. In fact, you don't even have to drill. We just cut that little corner off and make a little space for the wire. Right? Alright. So, couldn't be simpler. That goes in. Whoops. It goes in the right way around. Now, for the wires, we're basically just going to feed them through the center and then put them in place. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera again. Oh, nope, we didn't do something. Or I didn't do something. You guys had nothing to do with it. There is, just like with the ankle, there's this end piece that needs to come off. At least on the side where the wires will be coming through. But really, I like to just take the whole thing out. You don't really need it, right? Just like that. Alright, now, got a wire in place. Alright, this wire does not want to work with me. So, we're going to change it up just a bit. What I'm going to do, put the piece together, and I'm just going to drill straight through the center. Remember to hold your piece together as you're drilling. Alright, I think we're through. I really hate to kind of do it that way just because it's so much more brutal, but sometimes, you know. Split it back apart just to clean it out and see if there's anything in the way, which doesn't look like there is. Looks like we got a nice clean shot. Alright, so back through the center, and this time I'm going to pull it down to where it's pretty daggone tight. Right, just like that. Make sure that wire's in there good. In fact, there we go. Now the top, or I guess it's not really the top, but you know what I mean. Right, and just like that. Oops. There we go. Right, shoulder functions, no problem.